The Odyssey just came out. A lot of discourse online about historical accuracy. I don't care about any of that. This is leadership and communication. What I want to focus on is Odysseus and the decisions that he made. Spoiler alert for the Odyssey. Spoiler alert. I'm going to say this one more time. Spoiler alert for the Odyssey. Okay, we're going to start. Odysseus makes some horrible decisions in this movie. So let me backtrack. The movie is great. So I'm speaking of a place of they told this story beautifully. I'm not saying that he was written bad. No. This was a beautiful, once again, Christopher Nolan delivers in, man, a visual experience. Ludwig Göransson, once again, does an amazing job on the score. I don't know who the cinematographer is, but that is incredible. First film shot in IMAX fully. What an experience. So the story is great. The look is great, rather, and the sound feels incredible. Watch it in IMAX if you can. So I'm looking at the character. Odysseus, he makes some horrible decisions. And even though he's seen as a hero, right? So I'm not going to take away his hero status. If you're one of the Greeks under Agamemnon's army, you're thankful to Odysseus for coming up with such an idea. Okay? It's wartime. There's discussions about that, whatever, but we're dealing with the story. It's wartime. Odysseus comes up with this plan. Somehow it ends up working. And after 10 years, you're able to go home. If you haven't seen your family in 10 years and you travel by ship, there's no planes, man. There's no trains out here. There's no vehicles. It's the ocean and horses, man. After 10 years, you haven't seen wifey? Huh? You haven't seen kids. You haven't seen your kids in a decade. You might not be getting letters from home. I don't even know if there was some sort of mailing system that you could do overseas over a 10-year period. It's a rough time. You're thankful to Odysseus. That man is a hero for you, right? So that's one perspective. But now you're Odysseus and you're haunted by the fact that you use this Trojan horse, a gift to Athena after the war, and they use Zeus's law and this whole common gods thing to welcome this gift that you created into their house. And you disguise, literally wolf in sheep's clothing, and you use Zeus's law, the welcoming of others, to break into the house of others, even within the bounds of war. Yes, you can argue in war, all things are fair, but at the end of the day, some things are clear. Number one, Odysseus violated something that he strongly believes in to win a war. And by doing that, violates himself. And he ends up asking the question, do I even want to go home? Am I going to bring this terror to where I come from? Have I set a new precedent to say that we can disguise hate, anger, disdain? Can we disguise it in something that looks welcoming, in something that looks like a thank you? Odysseus is haunted by his decisions, even though he won the war. One of the things that he says in the movie is that he saw 10 years worth of rage descend upon that city of Troy in one night. And my goodness, do they show the savagery of living back then. Listen, I'm not going to get into some comparison game on who was it worse for. It was bad for everybody. It was bad for everyone. And if an army came to your town with the intent of destroying because these guys have been at war with you for years and they just want to see wifey, you best believe they're going to burn that place down. And if they don't burn it down, they're going to be held prisoner and still not see wifey. So they're going to do their job. Odysseus saw that rage and terror just descend on that city. And it broke him because how he got in was through a gesture of welcoming. Zeus's law in the Odyssey, at least as they explain it in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, is someone comes to your house. It could be a beggar, it could be someone of high regard, it doesn't matter. But you must offer them a meal. You don't have to give them everything. But that acceptance, that's that extension to be like, welcome, you are welcome here. Why do they say this? And they explain it pretty well. You never know if someone is a god in disguise. You just don't know this person's journey. Whether they're a beggar, whether they're a person of high standing within society, you don't know. But what you should do is treat others the way that you would like to be treated. And that's the founding principle here. So what does that mean for us in the workplace? I'm going to park that question for now, but I want you to start thinking about that. What does that mean for us to break, quote unquote, a Zeus's law within the workplace, or disguise what we see as conflict, as pulling others down the corporate ladder, as speaking behind other people's backs, as taking away opportunity? Do we disguise that as, I'm just giving you advice? Or listen, these people have been saying this about you, so I'm just looking out for you. Meanwhile, you might not be doing that. Or you might know of people who might not be doing that. Let's park that, but think about that while we speak. So Odysseus, big mistake. His first mistake is doing the Trojan horse. From a conscious perspective, Odysseus's first mistake is making the Trojan horse and then lying to the one soldier about them leaving. They were inside the horse, but then the one soldier didn't know that they were inside. He made the horse, and because of that, he got in. And he ends up regretting that and being haunted by that. And because of that decision, he ends up sailing west of west, chasing the sun. Exiles himself. So it's not a story of victory. And even the final shots are so beautiful. You have the Trojan horse leaning against one of these pillars and it's burning as the rest of these Greeks are invading and destroying Troy and absolutely unaliving everyone who is a Trojan citizen or Troy citizen, however you say it. And it's burning. And for me, that just symbolized the civilization falling apart. The lack of what we would call ubuntu, motu, kemotu, kabatu, togetherness. We are one. Yes, we are at war, but even in war, there are some customs that we do not violate. Even in conflict, there are some lines that we absolutely do not cross. Even if I'm going head to head with an opponent, there are some things that hold us within this conflict that we govern ourselves by, that we will never cross. You could be fighting with someone, shouting, going back and forth, but there's some lines that you absolutely know you will never say. Ever, because you can never go back from that. And the sad part about this is that Odysseus doesn't go back home. He passes by. Even when he comes by, he's disguising himself because of the advice of Agamemnon, but he's not planning to stay. And Odysseus has something that we won't get. He gets to visit the underworld and speak with the dead. He gets to do that. And they sort of give him insights. And then on top of that, he gets to speak to people who, the scene with Circe, and she gives, for whatever reason, she gives him advice. So he gets these insights that the rest of his team don't get. And it's only through struggle does Odysseus break and then be transparent. That's a problem. Odysseus waits for struggle and the verge of death for him to open up to his team. The team is operating with what they know. I'm not saying they're innocent, but with the information that they have, they're trying to make the best decisions, whether they're on the sea or whether they're on land. Because Odysseus, time and time again, has made bad mistakes. So they don't see the Trojan horse as a mistake. Fine. Mistake number one, they don't follow Agamemnon on the known trade route. They take a chance, they find an island, but then on that island, there happens to be a Cyclops. It's like, oh my goodness, this guy led us here. They managed to escape the Cyclops at the cost of some lives, but Odysseus, in his rage and thinking, oh, this guy just out here just ate my men, shoots an arrow, and then this Cyclops ends up chasing them all the way back to the ship and still catches another two people. And they confront him on the ship to be like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Especially after we heard the Cyclops pray to its god, Poseidon, and now our trip is doomed. Why is that important? Odysseus can have the best reason on planet Earth. The team doesn't believe him. And from there, it's downhill. There's no unity. There's none. Now imagine, you're someone who was fighting this Trojan War as one of the Greeks under Odysseus's command. You're there for 10 years. You've trusted this man for 10 years. He finally comes up with a plan. This plan works. Your trust is through the roof because I can finally go back home. I haven't seen people that I love in 10 years. Let's go back home. Odysseus' first thing is to be like, no, we're not going to follow Agamemnon. Everyone's like, but that's a known trade route. We can get supplies. We've just beaten Troy. We control the Aegean now. Nah, let's not do that. We're going to go another way. Okay, you're the captain. This is army. There's no the democracy. Nah, this is the captain. Okay, but now, bad decision after bad decision. More people being unalived after more people being unalived. Eventually, the team is like, you're not even listening to us when we're giving a different perspective. We're just going along your way. And because of this, men who thought that they would go home aren't going home. We finished the project. We finished the big launch. You want to give us more work? More danger? Or under this guise of you think we're still gonna get home before Agamemnon gets home? We thought we made it out alive from the Trojan War. So we relieved and we're trusting you and you're abusing that trust, especially now because because Odysseus doesn't listen to the correction of his team. But now the division causes lack of trust. So then they end up on Circe's island. And my, oh my, is this a hurt individual? Circe turns these people into animals, into what she actually sees them as. She sees these guys as people who are on the verge of eating her, even though they drop their armor outside. She's like, I don't care. And the only reason why Odysseus isn't there is because his team exiled him. So what's the lesson there? The team is like, we're going to look at the island. You just hang back because you bring us some bad luck. That's not a good solution. The actual good solution is to sit down and be like, okay, we need to realign. This is how we need to handle conflict. If we're seeing things different, before we make the next move, can we stay on the same page or can we get on the same page? Or can we agree on what the next step is if we can't solve this issue right now? Because further division doesn't help. Now the team no longer wants to listen to the leader because of the bad results that have come before that. It doesn't matter if you just won the Trojan War as a manager. Your past 3 or 4 decisions all of a sudden define you now to this team that's hurt. It's your job now as a leader to say, okay, we're not seeing eye to eye, but we can't do this in separate teams. We still need a leader, and we still need to make a decision where we're all in this together. Because when those storms come, when those winds come, when these giants on these islands come, we need to be unified and trust each other in the heat of the moment. When that project comes, when that client comes, when that team meeting and discussion comes, when that team building comes, we need to come together. The fight that I just had with you in the corridor should not be shown when a client comes in or potential partner comes in. Absolutely not. We need to be unified. So both made a mistake. Odysseus was like, fine, have at it. I'll go hunt by myself. The team was like, thank goodness he's staying behind because he's some bad luck. Oh no, it still gets worse. Odysseus kills a man, unalives a man. The team get caught by the witch. Odysseus must now come and save them. But now he doesn't share these insights with the team. And in his brain, he's probably thinking he's protecting the team. But from a leadership and communication perspective, it always helps to be transparent and clear. It always helps. Especially when people's lives are on the line. Especially when your KPIs depend on it. What do you mean you didn't tell me 1, 2, 3? Who are you to make that decision for me? You should have opened up to us. Team leader, Odysseus keeps it for himself. He gets these insights. She says, you go make a home. They're not gonna make a home. And he can seem brave in this moment. Because I've watched this twice. Shout out to my girlfriend. We watched this together. It was absolutely amazing. And he's like, then I'm gonna defy the gods because I'm gonna keep these guys alive. Nah, that's an episode for another day. But here's the thing, even though she has the insight, Odysseus keeps it and he doesn't tell the team. That's the one takeaway on from this. There's other observations that you can make, but that's the one takeaway. He knew, he didn't communicate, and he thought he could be the hero again. Odysseus is used to being a hero. Odysseus is used to being a king of his own island. Yes, Agamemnon is there, but he brought together kings. Kings can also be transparent. Kings can also advise or seek advice from those around them. This is why you have your team. This is why you've appointed people to direct the ship and hunting and all of these things. Because you trust them. You didn't trust them with this information. Who are we not trusting with information? Are you leading a team? Are you thinking that you're saving them by not telling them something that could affect them directly and their performance? Why? You can come up with all the reasons. There's no justification for that. It's just not healthy leadership. I'll say that again. It is not healthy leadership if you know information that will directly affect someone else's KPIs who you're leading and you choose to stay quiet because you think you're saving them. That is selfish. Anyways, story continues. Odysseus ends up telling his men, we can't land at XYZ because this is what they told me. He eventually tells them, but at the breaking point. Now the team is so far from listening to this man. Of course they were going to go onto the Sun God's Island and eat. We're not unified. We haven't been unified since the second island where these 9-foot giants are out here terrorizing us. It feels like they're moving the trees out here. There's no more trust. So regardless of what you tell them now, you've lost the team. There comes a point where there's so much disconnection that even when you start speaking the truth and trying to rectify, that some people are too far gone. They get onto the Sun God's Island, they eat some of the cattle, and Odysseus has the nerve to be like, oh, this isn't my fault. This isn't my fault. That's not what we're going to do, Odysseus. Now, obviously, he takes accountability at the end and he's going to go and sail and honor the dead. But in that moment, oh no. You're still the leader. Yes, you've lost the team, but man, you don't get to walk away righteous like that. You don't. At this point, there's been so much time that everyone has made mistakes. Everyone has been involved in their own pride and their own ego and their own moral high horse, that there's fingers to point everywhere. And there's not one person in that moment who's like, let's come together. It's hard. We might not agree on everything, but let's come together. And that's sad to see. Anyways, Odysseus ends up making it home. I'm gonna skip the Charlize Theron. I forgot who she was playing again. It's not Cleopatra. I forgot who she was playing. Calypso. Calypso keeps him for 7 years. I'm gonna jump that part because I just want to look at Odysseus's choices, just his decisions. He gets home, he ends up disguising himself, and he sees that, oh my word, my reputation, even though my name wasn't attached to it in terms of the people of the sea, has already reached Ithaca. People are out here abusing my household, abusing Zeus's law. Does that sound familiar? Abusing Zeus's law for their own gain, filling their bellies in my household, coming under the pretense of, oh no, you have to serve us. Some with political agendas or what, but they're using They're using the whole Zeus's law to have a seat at the table. Does that sound familiar? That's Odysseus. That's what he did. Now Ithaca is crumbling. And I guess if there's a silver lining out of that is that it hasn't burnt down. Because of Odysseus, Troy burnt down. Let's make no mistake there. But he's seeing the writing on the wall. He tries to clean things up, but he understands that he can't stay anymore because he's haunted by the fact that he abused this law of do unto others. Something that he also abides by. Odysseus and his smartness won him a war, but he lost men, he lost dignity, he lost family for years. Because at the end, he's not with Telemachus. I think I'm saying that right. With Tom Holland. He has to leave his son there. So the last time you saw your boy, dude was like 5, 6. He loses all of that. But what's crazy to me, he loses conscience. It haunts him. He sits there in his disguise speaking to the queen of Ithaca, Anne Hathaway, and he's like, we're the people from the sea. This is us. This reached Ithaca before I could get you. I'm seeing this deterioration. I started this. And eventually he starts to see now, or maybe along the journey, somewhere in this 20-year journey, he realized, I'm at fault. And I guess that's where there's some turnaround. But listen, your team's gone. They've lost their lives because you woke up too late. Are we seeing the parallels? Who are you in the story? Are you the prideful decision maker? Are you the quiet team member who sees everything deteriorating and you're saying nothing? Are you disgruntled about a decision that was made so long ago, but you're still holding on to it, just waiting for your get back? Who are you in this? As much as this is a tale from long ago, whenever it was made, the relevance and the lessons today, in my brain at least, are unmistakable. Have we abused what we see as common goodwill? Do we only make decisions for our temporary benefit? Do we only make decisions to get back on others? Do we listen to our team when they confront us? Are we able to get off our high horse and say, listen, I was wrong and I cost all of you. I can't pay it back, but I want you to know that I see it and I'm wrong. Odysseus saw Troy burn, saw his friendship circles burn, and saw his kingdom fall apart when he got back home. Yes, he left his son there as king, but man, at what cost? So that's the Odyssey. I enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts and opinions on the movie and you've seen it too, please share your thoughts. I'd love to hear that and we can get into a discussion. I love speaking about movies and the meanings or rather the relevance that it has in our life. And if you didn't watch the movie but you still listened, congrats to you. I guess you don't care about spoilers. Other than that, I will see you all in the next episode of Lone Leader. It's on us.